Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are going to have a conversation right now about using your influence to promote the cooperative program. The official title is Women Who Use Their Influence to Promote the Cooperative Program and Cooperation Within the Southern Baptist Convention. And I have a stellar list of candidates and people to talk to this morning, panelists that are going to talk about this with us. And we'll just start down on the end to tell us a little bit about yourself. This is Renee Trewick. She is, I believe, the most recent past chairperson of the Guidestone Financial Resources Trustee Board. So Renee, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you go to church. And also, I'm going to ask each of you this. What is your favorite CeCe Winans song? So you start.
Okay. Hopefully you're not going to ask us to sing. No. But my name is, as Laura said, is Renee Trewick. I attend the church in Bronx Baptist Church in Bronx, New York, under the leadership of Reverend Frank Williams. At the church, I serve as the director of the unit, the stewardship unit that has the responsibility for finance, public relations, and property. Very varying responsibilities. My favorite CeCe Winans song is He's Concerned.
Okay, all right, that's a good one. That's a good answer. And also, just real quickly, you served on the board. Did you talk about a little bit about what you did for Guidestone there? Oh, and your day job too. I wanted to talk about that. You are the vice president of you're a pretty big deal. Tell us about that.
I currently work at Marsh USA, particularly Marsh McLennan Agency. I am the vice president of with the private client group. And my function is pretty much finance, planning, and analysis, so FP&A responsibilities.
Wow.
So I've been there for quite a while.
Okay, well, thank you.
With Guidestone, I was the vice chair about 4 years ago. I had the vice chair role, and then the last 2 years I was chair. Had the opportunity with the transition that occurred from Dr. Hawkins to Dr. Dilbeck. So that has been a really fantastic experience, as well as just seeing the vision and the future of Guidestone. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, wow, we appreciate your service there. Thank you. So Missie, we'll go to you. This is Missie Branch. Tell us who you are, where you work, your church, and your favorite CeCe song.
Okay, my name is Missie Branch. I am from Wake Forest, I live in Wake Forest, North Carolina. My family and I attend Imago Dei Church there. I work at Southeastern Seminary in Wake Forest. I'm the assistant dean of students to women and the director of graduate life, and that just is on small campuses. Everybody does a lot of jobs. So I also am the chairman of the board at Lifeway. I have been a trustee there for 4 years before this position, so I love Lifeway, and I'm grateful for that relationship. And my favorite CeCe Winans song is For Always.
Another good one. Okay, Sarah. So Sarah, I just learned this literally this morning.
Oh, really?
That in addition to all of your many responsibilities at the California Southern Baptist Convention, you also were the chairperson of the local arrangements committee that put on this meeting.
Yeah, I don't really know how that happened.
Yeah, so that's a huge deal. So talk about cooperation. That's a lot of cooperation, a lot of different elements and moving parts and volunteers and things. So
yeah, and it's gone really well.
Great.
Shout out to all of the California people who stepped up. Thank you for that.
Yeah, very cool. So tell us who you are, where you go to church, where you work, and your favorite CeCe song.
All right, I'm Sarah Graham. I worship at Clovis Hills Community Church in Clovis Hills, California, and I'm on staff at the California Southern Baptist Convention as the Director of Communications. Just started, really, so I'm kind of new to this role. And my favorite CeCe song, just throwing it back, is His Strength is Perfect. It takes me back to my youth. Really.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm sorry, you're all incorrect. The correct answer was Alabaster Box, but
gotcha.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, those are all fantastic, and I'm glad none of you said that one because that's my favorite. So that's good. So we're going to talk about the cooperative program and cooperation among Southern Baptists. I think we'll just kind of go in that order. Again, we'll start with you, Renee. That's a pretty big role at your church to serve as the stewardship director, I guess, for lack of a better term there. So how do you promote that? How do you promote cooperation there in your church financially? And then when we reach the local, the state, and even the national level of cooperative program, like how do you do that on the local, just right on the ground there at your church in New York?
So basically, we have a line item. We make sure that we budget corporate giving in our finances. And what we do is that at our members meeting, we share what is happening and we encourage members to give at that point. Then throughout the year, we also encourage members through the stewardship committee that they give, that we engage in all the other mission giving. We also, our hosts for some church plans. So we get to see how the corporate dollars are working, and then that incentivizes people because you're actually seeing the dollars at work. So it incentivizes the giving among the membership.
Yeah, that's true. Telling people stories is where it's at.
Exactly.
And, I guess I never introduced myself. My name is Laura Erlanson, and I'm the managing editor of Baptist Press. And that's what we do, is we tell the stories of Southern Baptists to not only inform people, but also to motivate them to be involved. You know, let's cooperate. This is why we're here. And Missie, you were telling me backstage a really neat story. So I want you to talk about your role at Southeastern and maybe even your experiences as a church planter with cooperation. But I also kind of want you to tell that story again too, but just what a big deal it is that we can cooperate like this. So I want you to tell that.
Absolutely. Working at Southeastern, I wasn't raised necessarily in a Southern Baptist convention, the denomination, so I have been learning a lot as I've been here. And the first few years I came to the convention with Southeastern, I was working our booth, so I didn't really get to experience the meetings and the sessions. And so maybe been 3 conventions ago, I got to sit in on a meeting, and I was blown away when I saw average people just coming to the microphone and saying things, and just the impact that this was having. Someone said something at a microphone that I felt like they were speaking to me, but yet they were advocating for something for the stage, and it just was mind-blowing that we are a part of something really big, and it's really impactful that we come and invest in it. So it was beautiful. On the campus, one of the ways that we are able to participate is that students who go to Southern Baptist churches are able to get a 50% discount on their education, which is huge.
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people know that. That's a huge deal.
Yes, it's a huge deal. And we are always encouraging our students to, part of being part of Southeastern is to go be a part of your local church, to serve there, to disciple people there, to grow there, to be discipled and be trained. Because honestly, from firsthand knowledge, I see the value of the cooperative program and the way it blesses us as a community, as a denomination, but on an individual level, our students. And then, like you said, we were part of a church plant. And all of the pastors had gone to seminary, and they were able to benefit from the CP, and the ability to pull those resources that they had and use them on the front lines. Our church was planted in an urban community where the gospel was absolutely needed and it was scarce. So to have that theological education and then resources for the other ministers in the church plant, I mean, it's second to none.
Invaluable. Yeah. Well, Sarah, it's kind of your job now, I guess, to promote cooperation in the Southern Baptist Convention, at least for a part of it. They're here in California.
Yes.
So what have you learned in your kind of short time on the job, but what is your vision for telling that story of cooperation?
Well, I just want to say, unlike Missie here, I was born in a Southern Baptist church. My whole life has been in service to the local church, and now here I'm at the convention. And it wasn't until I got to the convention that I realized kind of what you were saying, which is this is much bigger. And I was already exposed. And so I think, like Renee was saying, telling those stories is critical. And in this day of social media, there is an abundance of stories happening all over all of our states, across the nation, across the world that we're getting to see in real time. So telling those stories has been a really important part of my job, so people can see that their money is having an impact on a kingdom level like we've never known before, even when the newspaper was a thing. Yeah.
Now, you were on a church staff for a long time, too.
I was. Mm-hmm.
Right? So tell us, what was your role there, and how did the cooperative program or cooperation impact your local church?
My church very much, the church that I was at here in Southern California, where I served for a long, long time, I was the worship leader, so surprise. But we had a real value at that church for their cooperative program, and they made sure that, Annie and Lottie and all of those offerings were very well funded, and that the church understood as part of their budget that we didn't take a special offering for that. It was part of the budget, and it went no matter what the financial situation was at that season, that money was going, it was priority. And so I don't know that all churches do that, but telling these stories helps.
Yeah, it's so important. And I've heard it said that if the cooperative program didn't exist, we would have to invent it. And because it's so important, and like Missie said, it's I've also heard it described as a rope of sand. It's like a lot of really different people. You walk around this convention center,
oh, yeah.
Man, you see all kinds of people,
mm-hmm.
and yet we can all work together. It's a rope. We're all holding the rope for our missionaries and our seminary students and our church planters.
Mm-hmm.
We're holding that rope for them, but it's kind of fragile. We all have to commit that we want to do this. We want to cooperate. Can you think, what have you, when is an example of that you have seen of how important it is to partner with other believers in an effort like that? Who can think of something?
One thing that stands out for me is when I see the IMB sending their missionaries. And it's very moving for me every time. I really make an effort when I'm here to see that. And just knowing that our dollars are a part of that. I can't go. I don't have the call. But yet still, I can impact and participate in the call of the Great Commission through them. And that's something that we try and emphasize in our local church, that where we can't go, our dollars can.
Yeah, that's really great. What about you?
At Southeastern, we have the unique opportunity to train people to be missionaries. So not only are we giving money, but we're saying, let's prepare you to be the boots on the ground in those spaces, bringing the gospel. And it's incredibly moving to not just hear about people in other spaces, but to know them personally, to be giving to them, to be praying for them, to get reports back about what God is doing in a particular community all over the world and all over our country. It really is such a sweet connection. Like you just said, we may not be able to go, but our dollars can, and so can our prayers and our support, and that relational connection even that they need while they're gone. It's beautiful.
So at a state convention, Sarah, you have a little bit of a different perspective, I think, than maybe we do. So I think there's even, maybe you could argue, more cooperation in a state convention because it's localized and the churches kind of all know each other and they see each other at their annual meeting and things like that. How do you see a state convention partnering with their churches, maybe in even a different way than what we do here at the annual meeting?
Well, the state is really unique because it's connecting on both sides, right? It's connecting to the church and it's connecting to the pastor and the person in the pew, but then it's also on the other side, it's connecting to our entities and to, the IMB, North American Mission Board, and all of Guidestone and Lifeway, right? All of these. And California this year, especially for this convention, we really emphasized a generational push because we come and we know and we've experienced, but if we're not bringing that next generation to see for themselves a commissioning service, to really understand and appreciate what's happening, that rope gets more and more tender, right? So we have to make sure that the up and coming leaders are seeing it and experiencing it and understanding it to the fullest, because there is a lot that goes into the cooperative program.
Yeah. So Renee, I'm sure you're a very busy woman, vice president of a financial institution. So what made you decide when somebody asked you, hey, do you want to also do this other really hard thing to help Southern Baptists? What made you go, okay, I'll do that?
The funny thing is I didn't realize it was going to be a harder thing. But, at the point in time, I didn't know that much about Guidestone, other than just, the annuity. And I was asked to serve based on some service that I did in my local association, and I just responded. It has been a great experience. I've met many people, men and women across this country, just from states that I have not been to, met colleagues, the colleagues there, fantastic colleagues, top class, and they are, you can compare them to any Wall Street firm because they do intentionally hire individuals with great talent. And then also the mission dignity, that, oh my goodness, when I saw that and the impact that they have on 2,400 people.
Cooperative effort with a lot of people in churches, and it's amazing, yeah.
So that they impact so many individuals who are ministers, workers, and their spouses, and they ensure that they retire with dignity and have income. So, it's a way that every dollar that is given goes to those individuals. So it has been an all-around great experience. There's time of a lot of work, but it was well worth it, and I would recommend people to serve.
Well, that's really good, and so we appreciate your service in that way. So, Missie, talk about your service on the Lifeway board and how that has been, and why you decided that was a good idea for you to do.
I find it hard to believe that there are Christians who have not been impacted some way or another by Lifeway. I mean, when you think about it, the amount of resources and now the global reach that Lifeway has is outstanding. I'm thinking astounding is what I meant. I guess it's both, outstanding and astounding. But it has been such an incredible honor to see how things are working from the other side, from the inside. And being asked to be on the board originally, I thought it was a mistake. Who am I? Why would I be on the board of the trustees of Lifeway? And I gave them a hard time for a while, but what I've learned is really the hard work that goes into producing resources, but also the thoughtfulness, the care, the effort, and the amount of cooperation, which is what we're talking about. The amount of cooperation with other entities, the amount of cooperation with other leaders and other state conventions to create the resources that our denomination and the world at large needs. So it's really an incredible opportunity.
Wow, that's great. Well, thank you for your service. Sarah, I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, so I'm putting you on the spot a little bit because I didn't know that you were chairperson of the Arrangements Committee until this morning. So, that's the ultimate cooperative effort, right?
Really
How many
is.
volunteers did you have?
I couldn't tell you. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Okay, just to
Yes.
put on this meeting,
Just
right?
put on this meeting.
How many meetings did you have? Like
I couldn't tell you.
dozens, probably?
Yeah, I'm sort of in the fog of it now. Yeah.
So can you talk to us? We only have about a minute left, so can you talk to us a little bit just about putting on this meeting for people that are here attending it and maybe appreciate your efforts?
Well, California was really excited to host. It's been 41 years. I mean, if you've heard it once, you've heard it a dozen times. It's been 41 years since it's been here. And so California has so much to offer just in our diversity, just in the landscape and our people and our churches. And we have been wanting to show the nation for a while just how beautifully diverse we are. And so people were excited. Even today, I'm still getting emails. How can I serve? How can I help? So it's been really a wonderful season for us as California Southern Baptists.
That is amazing. Well, I appreciate all your work that went into that.
Thank you.
I appreciate all of your many, many hundreds of volunteers who put on this meeting.
Yes, thank you.
We are all in their debt, and we have had a great time. I think it's been a great meeting so far. The convention center is beautiful. The location is beautiful.
Welcome to
And
California.
Thank each of you so much for being a part of this panel. I know you all are very busy with your own responsibilities just here as part of the meeting. And so I don't take it for granted that you took time out to be with us today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
for having us. Thank you.